It has been over 2 years since Ruby Franke and her business partner Jody Hildebrandt were arrested for what they did to Ruby's 2 youngest children. And now Ruby's sister Bonnie has spoken out to say that she's ready to move on with her life and claims that she hasn't spoken to Ruby Franke since 2020. Ruby Franke had been a Mormon vlogger with a YouTube channel titled 8 Passengers. Well, Bonnie, her sister, has been doing the same thing. She vlogs her family and her life, and she did a video the other day stating that she's having a hard time changing her bio on her Instagram because she feels like she's mourning and grieving her former life.
My Instagram bio currently takes me back to 5 years ago. Things were going so well. And I was really, really proud of everything that I had in my bio.
This is what Bonnie had in her profile. She had co-owner of Bolly Brand. This is the clothing company that she and her sister had started. Ebook, griffithscookbook.com, which is the cookbook that she and her siblings had done. And then she had the hashtags for her home build and her travel.
Those were my identifiers. And I think the reason that it has taken me so long to change my bio is because I don't want to not identify with those things.
She says these are what identified her and she doesn't want to change that, especially the clothing brand that she started with her sister Ellie. She said she was extremely proud of this and she said who knows what the future holds, but now that she's in a better place, are we going to be seeing Bolly Brand again?
Now that I feel like I'm getting my feet back under me, I'm getting my mind straight again, I feel really good sitting here. I feel really happy. I feel, for the first time in a very long time, I feel maybe hopeful for something positive and good in my future. There was for the last couple of years, there was not any hope of being happy again. There really is good times ahead, I think.
She also talked about the cookbook and said that she'd love to do another cookbook, but this time on her own. And the reason they will never sell this cookbook again is because it has pictures of her sister, Ruby Franke, on it.
The cookbook, that was a really personal and just a labor of true love. It did really well. The book sold really well. Obviously, with my oldest sister being on the cover and throughout the book, we would never sell that again. I think that I would love to do a cookbook on my own. I would love to do a cookbook and include all of the recipes in the back of the book without some of the pictures and just have that in the back so that people that wanted those could have those in the back. But even then I'm like, ugh, like I don't know if I want to do that.
Bonnie has updated her Instagram profile now, but she did get extremely teary-eyed when talking about it, saying that it was almost a homesick feeling for how successful and happy she had felt.
There's this feeling that I get that it does feel like homesick for the life I had, how happy I was, how thriving I was, and how successful I felt. That person is no longer here. But for the first time, I feel like I'm going to be able to replace it with something. Hopefully it will be a positive, good thing.
Ruby's siblings have not spoken out much about the situation with their sister and the arrest, and Bonnie said she doesn't want to have to talk about Ruby.
And this is why I also haven't wanted to sit down and talk about it, because it does involve my older sister, and I don't want to talk about her. I don't want to think about her.
Bonnie shared that her clothing company, Bolly Brand, just basically fell apart during COVID. She said once COVID hit, everything had to take a back seat. But also at this time is when Ruby Franke basically disowned her family. She stopped talking to all of them.
About the same time is when Ruby cut us all off. That really threw us personally for a loop. So the business was thrown in for a loop because of COVID. Our personal lives were thrown through a loop because of my sister, and it was bad. That was a really hard time, and from then on, there was no communication until the day she was arrested. But, well, and I still haven't had any communication, but like we didn't know anything until she was arrested.
So according to Bonnie, she hasn't spoken to Ruby Franke since 2020 when COVID hit, and she knew nothing about what Ruby and Jody Hildebrandt were doing to her nieces and nephews until Ruby Franke's arrest. You might not be able to get the Griffiths Family Recipes cookbook any longer, but you can show your support to Ruby Franke's children by ordering Sherry's book, The House of My Mother, which she goes into detail about what it was like growing up in a house with Ruby and Kevin Franke. Or go support Chad Franke, who just recently married his fiancée Cam, by checking out his new website for his new clothing brand, Reason, like I did.